As the quarterfinals begin, we learn that Steve Blackman had to withdraw after sustaining a knee injury during training. Because of this, Marvelous Mark Mero has been advanced to face Bradshaw. We get some nice punching by Mero in the first round, but Bradshaw overpowers him and takes him down. It's 5-5 at the end of the first. Mero lands a great shot on JBL in round 2, and Bradshaw won't release his hold on him. He keeps hooking him and locking up with him, and eventually takes Mero down. Mero is trying to punch the bigger guy, but Bradshaw just keeps pushing him around. Round 2 ends with the crowd booing, just as they were at the end of round 1. The score is now 10-10, all tied up. This is definitely the closest matchup since Hawk versus Droz. Bradshaw takes down Mero again, and Mero drops a blatant F-bomb that can be heard by everyone because JBL won't break his hold. Mero lands some body shots on Bradshaw, and the bell rings. Mero raises his arms, believing he won the fight. The match is called a draw, though, and it's announced that there will be one more round. Unlike the Hawk versus Droz fights, when Hawk had a broken nose, both men are okay to continue in this fight, which is why we're getting an extra round. In the fourth and final rounds, Bradshaw gets a takedown, which all but seals it, as Mero attempts his own, but Bradshaw defends. Once again, Bradshaw keeps his claim about being the toughest guy in the locker room alive. He will be advancing to the semifinals, and right about now, despite saying he wasn't, Vince Russo must have been nervous. Savio Vega and Droz both come out swinging in their quarterfinals match. Droz lands some big punches, and Savio keeps slipping. Droz is up by 5 points at the end of 1. Savio comes out swinging in round 2, and Droz lands some more hard shots. Droz gets a takedown, and the crowd goes wild. Back and forth punches exchanged between the two of them as round 2 comes to an end. More back and forth in round 3, and Droz gets another takedown. He follows that up with a flurry of punches. Savio stumbles, but keeps fighting. He is definitely a tough dude. Droz wins by points. This means the first semifinals fight is set. It'll be Bradshaw versus Droz, but I'll get to that. Here's maybe the biggest quarterfinals matchup. The odds-on favorite, Dr. Death Steve Williams, who was already awarded the $100,000 prize, against Bart Gunn. Remember, at this point in the Brawl for All, the only TKO has come from Dr. Death over Pierre. Everyone else has won by points. Dr. Death immediately takes down Bart Gunn. He attempts another takedown, but Bart blocks the second. Both guys are throwing bombs, and both guys are landing them. Round 2 features more heavy hands exchanged. Dr. Death attempts a takedown, but Bart defends. Dr. Death keeps getting in close, but can't do much. Bart looks comfortable. Suddenly, Bart gets a takedown right before the bell. The unofficial scorecard has Dr. Death up 15-5. No friggin' way. The fix is in, folks. Round 3 starts with more back and forth, and Bart gets another takedown on the Doctor. Dr. Death Steve Williams gets up limping, but he's still on the attack. He is no joke. What a tough bastard. Suddenly, though, Bart Gunn rocks Dr. Death, and with 5 seconds left in the fight, he knocks him the fuck out. Bart wins in stunning fashion, and you can already hear the disappointment in Jim Ross's voice. This was the first official knockout in the Brawl for All, but it wouldn't be the last. Dr. Death is down for a while, surrounded by officials. Bart goes to check on him. We'd soon learn that Dr. Death suffered a torn hamstring, a dislocated knee, and a dislocated jaw. Within the year, the WWF had no choice but to release Steve Williams. costing them nearly $5 million. He was their guy. He was their winner. The guy they planned to push against Stone Cold Steve Austin and probably win the belt. They had so much riding on Dr. Death Steve Williams winning the Brawl for All. And they certainly never expected Bart Gunn to be the one to knock him out of it. After all, Bart Gunn was just a low to mid-tier tag team guy, right? I remember thinking, what is happening? I never expected Bart to be so tough. To me, he was Bart Gunn, half of the Smoking Guns. I never imagined he'd be a legitimate threat in this competition, but boy was I wrong. Bart Gunn definitely won me over at this point, and I found myself rooting for him. Word is, many in the locker room were happy to see Dr. Death go down, too. Not because they had any ill will toward the guy, they all liked him. But it's because of Jim Ross bragging about him so much. It was almost the equivalent of Bradshaw bragging about being the toughest guy. Seeing Bart Gunn eliminate Dr. Death in such a stunning fashion changed everything. As far as the WWF officials, though, no one even talked to Bart after the match. In their defense, they were probably just as stunned as the viewers were, myself included. According to the other competitors and people behind the scenes, Bart Gunn was the one guy going through the tournament staying quiet and staying humble. He wasn't bragging or talking shit. He was just comfortable and confident, and it showed in the ring. Everybody liked Bart, but most of them had never seen this side of him. The last quarterfinals match is between The Godfather and Scorpio. They go back and forth with The Godfather landing some big punches. A body shot to Scorpio staggers him, but he keeps coming. The Godfather has a huge size advantage and uses it, pounding Scorpio in the corner. Round 1 ends with The Godfather up 5-0. Godfather lands some more huge body blows in round 2, but Scorpio fights through. JR and King both give Scorpio a lot of credit, but The Godfather maintains his lead, 10-0 after 2. Scorpio attempts a takedown, but Godfather uses his size and strength to reverse it, earning himself those 5 points. Godfather lands some big punches to the face, but Scorpio keeps fighting back. Scorpio attempts one last takedown, but The Godfather defends and wins by points. What a display of courage by Scorpio, though. The first semifinals match held was The Godfather versus Bart Gunn. The Godfather once again has the reach advantage. Bart attempts a takedown, but Godfather stuffs it. The Godfather is delivering, and Bart is taking some punches. He actually lands more, though, and at the end of round 1, Bart Gunn is ahead, 5-0. Godfather jabs, and Bart attempts a takedown, but it's stuffed once again. Bart spits out his mouthpiece and just starts swinging. Godfather lands some body shots on Bart in the corner, but then Bart rocks him. Godfather keeps eating lefts, and King asks, how's he standing? Bart knocks him down as round 2 comes to a close, and The Godfather is saved by the bell. With Bart Gunn up 20-0, The Godfather comes out wobbly, but still throwing punches. It's not long, though, before Bart knocks him out cold with a hard right hook. Godfather is face down, hanging out of the ring. It was a brutal knockout. I guess before the fight started, Bart respectfully told him he was going to knock him out, and The Godfather laughed it off. Not only did Bart Gunn take out the odds-on favorite, Dr. Death Steve Williams, but he also took out Vince Russo's favorite, The Godfather. Bart Gunn's final opponent would be determined in the next semifinals matchup. It's braggadocious Bradshaw versus Droz for a trip to the finals. Both guys are landing big shots, and Droz is actually rocked by Bradshaw, but he nods at him, acknowledging it. Droz was so fun to watch, not only in this tournament, but in general. Bradshaw has a 5-0 lead at the end of 1. In round 2, though, Droz starts rocking Bradshaw and gets a takedown before the bell. Bradshaw is still ahead 10-5, though. At the start of the final round, Droz attempts a single leg takedown, but Bradshaw blocks. Big shots from both guys again, and Bradshaw attempts a takedown, which Droz blocks. Both guys seem gassed at this point, but Droz keeps coming and attempts a takedown as the final bell rings. It's extremely close, but the judges rule in favor of Bradshaw, and he moves on to the finals. Droz looks disappointed, and I feel bad for him. One could definitely argue that Droz won that fight, and Droz still believes he did. It was probably a blessing in disguise, though, if you know what happens next. Vince Russo must have been biting his nails, as Bradshaw has made it to the finals. He's 1 win away from proving he actually is the toughest guy in the locker room. Of course, he has to beat Bart Gunn first, the only man who has knocked out multiple opponents in the Brawl for All. That includes Dr. Death Steve Williams and The Godfather. Bradshaw almost looks, dare I say, worried coming to the ring. Bart Gunn, on the other hand, looks confident and calm. Shawn Michaels is on commentary once again for this one, by the way, along with JR and Jerry the King Lawler. The bell rings and both men come out swinging, and Bart Gunn knocks down Bradshaw fast. The ref starts the standing 8 count, and Bradshaw looks stunned. He should have stayed down, and everyone else has said the same. Bart Gunn throws and lands just 2 more punches, a left and a right, and Bradshaw is fucking pulverized. Braggadocious Bradshaw is knocked out just 40 seconds into the first round of the finals, and Bart Gunn is the Brawl for All winner. Who saw that coming? I know Bart did, and I can tell you someone else who predicted it. Billy Gunn. Having been a tag team for years and good friends, Billy Gunn knew how tough Bart Gunn was. They're not really brothers, by the way. That's not their real names. Billy Gunn claims he even warned Jim Ross not to let Bart Gunn in the tournament if he didn't want him to destroy everyone. Apparently, despite being one of the nicest guys, Bart Gunn was known as a legitimate badass in his hometown. Billy tells a story about Bart taking out 15 guys in a bar fight and then being stabbed with a liquor bottle in his side. Billy says he took out 10 more guys before looking down and asking, "How did that get there?" And folks, Bart has the scar to prove it. After this knockout of Bradshaw, Shawn Michaels is screaming, "Oh my God." He seems genuinely impressed, as do JR and the King. Bradshaw can't even stand. He's in a complete daze, and even the smelling salts aren't doing the trick. Vince Russo got exactly what he wanted. Bradshaw was obliterated. Bart Gunn turned out to be the unlikely hero in the story. It's impressive that Bart Gunn had the most difficult road to the finals and the victory. He knocked out all of his opponents but one. It's also impressive that Bob Holly was the one that did not get knocked out, so good for him. Think about it though. Bart knocked out Dr. Death Steve Williams, The Godfather, and then Bradshaw. There was no denying it. Bart Gunn was the toughest guy in the WWF locker room. Bart claims no one took him seriously. They were all convinced Dr. Death was going to win. When he found out he was supposed to face him in the quarterfinals, he even asked WWF officials if they should move the matches around so that they end up in the finals together. He said he'd even be willing to work with them if they wanted Bart to throw the fight to put Dr. Death on top. He knew they were trying to push Steve Williams, and he wasn't trying to get in the way. He was a loyal and dependable guy. The thing is, though, they laughed at Bart when he questioned what would happen if he knocked out Dr. Death. They clearly saw him as a non-factor. It's unfortunate what the WWF did with Bart Gunn after winning the Brawl for All. First of all, he was given $75,000 of the reward money. Bradshaw was given the other $25,000, which means Dr. Death earned more than both of them, even though he was knocked out in the quarterfinals. Not only that, but Bart was never given the push he felt he was promised. He'd end up being booked in a fight against Butterbean at WrestleMania the following year. I'll cover that though when I eventually review WrestleMania 15. Even if you've seen it and know what happens, I assure you, there's more to the story, so stay tuned. I've always found it awesome that a guy like Bart Gunn, a low to mid-tier tag team guy, that no one suspected to be the toughest guy in the WWF locker room, actually was the toughest guy in the WWF locker room. Those who competed against him, including Bradshaw and The Godfather, talk about how hard he could actually hit. They never felt anything like it up until that point and since. Bart Gunn was truly a badass, and WWF failed him. He should have been a star after this. It was such a wasted opportunity. I, for one, would have loved to see Bart Gunn versus Stone Cold. Why not? The official toughest guy against the proclaimed toughest SOB. I'd watch. At the same time, I get it. I understand they were in sort of a tough situation. Now that everyone knew how tough Bart really was, how do you book him in kayfabe matches? Who was going to realistically and believably beat the guy? We just watched him destroy his competition. So how was someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin or Triple H or even The Rock going to beat him? That's not to take anything away from any of those guys, but Bart Gunn had proven he was a legitimate tough guy. If it were up to me, I would have put the belt on Bart Gunn. They could have marketed him as the toughest world champion in WWF history. He definitely deserved it, absolutely earned it. I am team Bart Gunn. The WWF, unfortunately, saw things differently. Even in his subsequent matches following the Brawl for All, they all ended in someone interfering and cheating. It seemed to be the only way someone could now defeat Bart. In the end, this is one of the reasons the Brawl for All is considered one of, if not the worst idea in wrestling history. There was really no coming back from it for a lot of these guys. There were multiple injuries sustained, some career-ending, and ironically, the only one to go on and achieve success in winning the World Championship was JBL, Bradshaw, the guy around which the tournament was created. The same guy who lost in the finals, embarrassingly, being knocked out by Bart Gunn. Regardless, I still love the Brawl for All. Did you watch the tournament back in 1998? If so, what did you think of it then, and what do you think of it now? Comment below and let me know. As always, if there are any wrestling events you'd like for me to review in the future, list those in the comment section as well. Until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind, subscribe.